All right, welcome back to the Surly Talk Sports Podcast, brought to you by the TAB and Michelob Ultra, the first Monday pod as well. Bit of a mad Monday, where we review the big results, the news and talking points from the weekend sporting action, and Jesus, there's plenty to tuck into today. I feel like that weekend had it all. Upsets in the Super Rugby and in the NRL. We get to tuck into the chaos that was the Sail GP, plus some breaking news just this morning around Origin eligibility rules, that changing. It been confirmed to come to Auckland. So exciting times for sports fans here in New Zealand. Before we rip into that though, Henry, mate, we were talking last week on the pod about that balance between rugby and romance. Valentine's, of course, on the weekend, last weekend. Did you get the balance right, mate? Did you manage to tick both boxes?
Yeah, I did. A lot of rugby league watched. I went out for a breakfast brunch type thing at the Works Depot. And actually, funnily enough, I was having lunch next to Damien McKenzie and his lovely partner that has obviously just had a baby.
Yes, how was baby? All well, I trust?
The baby wasn't there. So, and this was obviously Saturday before their game against the Blues. He wasn't playing, but yeah, so that was a pleasant surprise actually having lunch with the missus, and then looked to my run. I was like, oh shoot, it's Damien McKenzie.
Out of interest, what was his order? Like, what was he tucking into?
Coffee.
Yes.
And then we left just as their food was arriving, so didn't actually see what he was getting to eat.
Right.
But it was an interesting scenario. But yeah, obviously had some good food and then went off to the rugby, which was good.
Love that. Right,
what about you?
Oh, yes. Thought I got away with it there.
Yes.
Friday night, went to dinner, booked it in early.
Yeah, nice.
Got it home before that Crusaders game, thankfully, so got to watch that all unfold. Then Saturday morning, had a bit of a breakfast brunch. Actually did Reformer Pilates before it.
Right.
Have you ever done Reformer Pilates?
No, I haven't.
Holy shit, the most humbling experience you'll ever get. I've done it a few times now, but it had been a couple months, and it brings you back to square one every time. Also, nice little walk along Taka Beach. It was Wakaama Nationals, I didn't realise. Plus, there was some kind of like coast-to-coast run, and I actually saw a dude join the run who was walking home from like kick-ons or a bender. Like everyone had their race numbers on them, and then this one guy, hoodie, camo jacket, jeans, and like Nike TNs, and he had a tin in his hand. I couldn't make out what the can was, but he just joined them on the beach and started running the beach. I think it was just speeding up his walk home from a massive night, but shout out to that, Roos. That is great stuff from them.
Valentine's Day for you.
Exactly. Sums it up perfectly, right? Let's get into the sport, and I think we'll kick things off with these Origin eligibility rules, which have just dropped for us a couple hours ago. By the time you listen to this, it'll be a few hours, but as we come to process this news, it's pretty exciting times for Kiwis fans in particular. So do you want to just run us through some of the tweaks that they've made?
Yeah, so the new eligibility rules, I mean, it's a weird one because there's no real changes to the actual how you're eligible for New South Wales and Queensland, but it means anyone who meets the existing criteria to play in Origin can do so regardless of the country they play for, paving the way for England and New Zealand representative players to put on a blues or maroon jersey. So the core eligibility rules haven't changed, but it's like the player can be born in New South Wales. It's the same rules, but now players like Kalen Ponga, there's other players around that may be able to play for New Zealand and Queensland. So that's sort of the basis of it. It's a bit of a confusing process, but what were your initial thoughts?
Excited. I think for so long, the Kiwis have been at the biggest disadvantage around the current Origin rules. And I think having this cleared up now not only encourages current guys that play Origin to want to play for the Kiwis, but also prevents young guys coming through from having to pick between State of Origin or playing for the Kiwis. Like we've seen it with Adam Fanua-Blake, right? One test for the Kiwis, and now he's been ruled out of State of Origin up until now. Chuck him in a sky blue jersey. Like he would have played a handful of games already, if not more, for New South Wales. So that's exciting. You get these young guys coming through now that won't have to make that decision. Guys like a Jack Howarth, like a KO Weeks, like these guys are potential Origin and Kiwis players. It's just exciting stuff, eh? There's other guys, Ethan Strange, like he's got Māori heritage. Now he could play for the Kiwis and play for New South Wales. So I think it's going to be massive for us. It also means current guys like Kalen Ponga, I know he played nines for Australia, and that's still hovering around his eligibility, but surely they dropped that whole rule around the night. The tournament literally doesn't exist anymore, so he would become eligible too. So I think we are the biggest beneficiary. I think dropping the tier system just makes sense now that Tonga, Samoa are also strong. And I truly reckon like we were the biggest hamstrung team for sure. The lure to play for your island heritage but still be able to play for New South Wales or Queensland, when so many of those guys are still eligible for the Kiwis too, like, that was a bit of a death sentence for us. So I'm stoked that this has come through. It's only going to make the Kiwis stronger. And I don't think it's ironic, the timing around it, right? Like they confirm Origin in Auckland this morning and then this comes out. It's just, yeah, exciting. I'm keen to see what players we can attract off the back of it and who jump ship from their current nations to play for the Kiwis.
Peter V'landys is a smart operator. And on the same day that they announced that it's coming in 2027 to New Zealand, they do this. I think it's a great move. I think it's been long overdue. And I echo all of your points. It's just going to be exciting for New Zealand because we have been sort of the ones that have just got a little bit of the bad rep through that. I think the Kalen Ponga thing sort of irks me a little bit because it's just been happening for so long.
Yeah.
He's been talking about it for years, maybe making the switch to play for the All Blacks. Like, there's that sort of stuff going on. So I kind of just want to see it finish with. I want to see him either represent the Kiwis or do whatever he wants to do.
I think respectfully to KP as well, he's made this decision now to want to play for the Kiwis because Reece Walsh, the Hammer, like there's probably guys ahead of him at the Origin level. So he's probably made this call almost... His hand's been a little forced earlier than he might have wanted to, but now at least we get clarification that that doesn't matter anymore, right?
Yep, 100%. What about Origin in 2027 in New Zealand? It's going to be exciting. Like, there's no way that this doesn't sell out. Have you heard anything about the timings? Like, what are the thoughts around that?
They're saying 9 or 9:30 kickoff.
Yeah. We said 8:30, didn't we, when we brainstormed
which was 6:30, so probably a bit early. So I think they're going for that 7:30 window, but we both said it would sell out in minutes.
Oh, it would, yeah.
I reckon it's going to go out in less than 4 or 5. I see Jonathan Thurston in the country today. Top 10 guys I'd love to have a beer with, I reckon. Jonathan Thurston, he would be an absolute good time on the tins. But the hype around this is going to be massive, and I can't wait. It's like the atmosphere around it, the excitement. Take the week off work. We were going to plan it literally.
Oh, let's do the podcast from
holiday.
there.
Oh, we should 100% do it from full time at least, and then we'll rip across, and then we can do one on the Thursday. Like, it's just cool. We get a taste of this Origin pie, and Kiwis are so passionate about it, and now we might have Kiwi players in it, which only pushes the interest up even more, right? I think it's the first time. 39 years ago was the last time they took Origin offshore. 1987 in California. And now we get the honour of hosting it at Eden Park, which is an historic venue. And I feel like the players will be up for it. Like, it's something a bit different for them too.
Well, it's not actually that far away. Like,
no.
And they play it at neutral venues all the time.
Closer
like,
than
it was
Perth.
in Perth. It was in Perth was it last year in Perth?
Yeah.
Like it's not actually that. Yes, it's a different country, and I understand the Australian arguments around it. Don't take Australia things to New Zealand. Like, but it's like, it's a business move. Like,
I feel like now as well that we could have Kiwi players in it help strengthen our argument to host more games, right? Like, it's an Australian thing. Well, it is to a certain degree because there could be Kiwi and English internationals playing in it as well. Like, yeah, Victor Radley, guys like that become eligible too.
What do you actually make of the argument around whether it should be in New Zealand or whether it should be like, whether they should move it from Australia to New Zealand for a game? Like, what? Because the purists are saying like it's a state v state, it's Australian, it's an Australian thing, it's like a trial for the Kangaroos.
Yeah.
And then let's not take it to New Zealand. But whereas the New Zealand argument is just, we just want a game. Like,
yeah. I see their point. At the same time, when you're taking it to Adelaide or Perth, I think it weakens the argument. I get that they are states in Australia, but Adelaide and Rugby League, like, it doesn't, Auckland will get way more behind it than Adelaide. I do get that it's an Australian competition, but I think it's one of those rare things that New Zealanders almost feel as passionately about it as Australians do, and it's swept up our country. I think Auckland is the perfect place for it too. I don't know. I saw examples of like, oh, what if the Blues played the Chiefs in Sydney? Like, yeah, that would be kind of random.
Yeah, but
they don't have the fan
same
base
thing.
there. It's not the same argument, is it? And we see the All Blacks taking games against South Africa to Chicago and things like that, right? Like
that's sort of the same sort of deal, right? Because it's a game that has the storied rivalry that's taken to a place where they want to grow the game. And I know that Auckland's already massive in rugby league, but they still want to grow the game in New Zealand.
Yes, big time. And I feel like having the Warriors in the NRL and now having Kiwis in Origin potentially, I think is a great argument for us. And I just think it's going to be so good for the game here. Like, I stand by the fact that there'll be kids in the crowd that watch that and think, maybe rugby, soccer, basketball isn't for me. I want to play league, which is great for the Warriors and great for rugby league in New Zealand.
It's also going to be great for the economy. I can't imagine what it's going to do.
There we go. Economy. We love that.
We do politics on this
That's what makes things get signed off these days. So, yeah, big economy guy.
All right, let's go to Saturday afternoon, 3:45. We talked a lot about it last week. Disappointing result. Disappointing sort of the way that everything happened.
Yes.
But some positives. Talk me through your initial thoughts first, and then you can sort of get into maybe what else you thought about it.
First thoughts, post-game, Warriors fans, it's too early to be crashing out. I see Instagram comments, TikTok comments everywhere. Like, come on, it's preseason. And yes, it was disappointing. It was a Manly side that didn't have a lot of household names, that's for sure. Maybe one or two players most league fans would recognise. And on paper, we were by far the better side. So it was disappointing not to come away with the result. The players still wanted to win that game, and they'll be disappointed that they didn't. At the same time, a great opportunity for young lads. I think we had 14 Pathways players take the field in that game, which is massive. Some of them as young as 18, 19 years old, which is invaluable experience. It was a good hit out for our experienced players. A lot of them a chance to blow out the cobwebs. I think the errors for me were the most disappointing thing. And it's weird because looking back on the stats, Manly actually had 17 errors compared to our 13. But I felt our errors more. I feel like we turned the ball over on good ball opportunities where we were perhaps building towards scoring some points. So they seemed like frustrating errors. We were pushing passes. It was just the basics, really. A couple poor defensive reads as well to let in some soft tries. So I feel like the things we did poorly, we did really poorly. And then the stuff we did well, we did pretty decently too. Some standouts for me, I thought Tanner Smith was outstanding. He was my man of the match. 139 run meters and 39 tackles. That's a great knock. Obviously got himself established as a regular first grader this year, and he was probably a player up until they extended the bench. That was right on the fringe now that we've got Morgan Gannon and guys like that, right on the fringe in terms of making the 17 every week. But I think he's gone to another level. I thought Luke Hansen looked really slick at times throughout that game. He's got an exciting future still, I reckon. I thought Sam Healy was really good too. Just that energy he brings around the ruck, and a few times I'm not sure if his teammates were on the same page as to when he was going to run because they weren't exactly pushing up in support, but I thought his running game was really good and he looked dangerous. I love the try that Micaiah Taufa scored. I thought that was a great individual effort, like beautiful work out of dummy half. Bounced across the ruck, little dummy, straight through. He's another one with a big future. And I thought Hazen Mellors as well, like a few errors there. But those two tries we scored, and Ali Leotou will get the credit for them. But I love that Hazen got up and competed. So often last year, they went for contain rather than compete, which is a bit of a saying they have. But instead, Hazen, in particular in that red zone when he gets up, he's a big body, and that Manly winger just happened to be bigger than him, which is pretty rare. But he forced those two errors just by getting up and competing, and Ali was there to clean up the scraps. So there were some positives there. I thought Harry Inch looked really good in his 10 to 15 minute spell. Like I said, ball running 6, that's what he played, and straight away off a scrum, he just caught it and took the line on and looked really strong. And I also thought that Jack Thompson looked pretty good too. Young lad, beautiful cutout ball there, the loop into score. So, yeah, plenty of positives. Frustrating, I get it. We should have won that game, yes. Luckily, it doesn't really count. Like the winner of the preseason challenge gets $100,000, which I'd say was give or take to the club. They'd rather just sell out the first game and make more than that, right? So, disappointing, frustrating. We were so excited off the back of a big off-season to rip in, but I think the positives, they were still there. And this week, I expect a big response from the lads.
Premierships aren't won in February.
No, they're not.
And as we've seen with the Crusaders, they haven't won a preseason game
I
in about 6 years.
think that's why we did it, you know? Like, we saw them lose on the Friday, and we were like, you know, perhaps good championship winning teams don't win right now.
Yeah.
So let's lose this game so that we peak at the back end.
What did you make of the sort of makeup of minutes with the first graders getting away with no injuries or whatever it was, and then the young guys coming in? Was the mix right for the first preseason game, do you feel?
Yes, I think it was. There was a couple moments there where I was like, oh, I'd maybe get a Lecker or a Demi off. But I think while the game was still close, it showed the competitive side still and that the boys still wanted to win. But I think it was just about getting cobwebs out early, and stoked to see guys like Wado and that get through it unscathed. Capes, Jacko Ford, those guys that will be your regular starters. And when you look at that All Stars game, I think it did remind us just the quality that was missing. Manly, obviously, missing a whole load, so it's not an excuse. But I do think we got it right. I think the young boys made the most of their minutes, and a lot of them would have just been stoked to get on. And everyone got a run. Everyone got at least 10 minutes, which I think is the main takeaway.
All right, let's move on to the All Stars.
Yes.
Or do you want to go through the other games first?
Well, there were just a couple things in the other games I wanted to touch on, and a lot of them were pretty bang average. Like the Cowboys putting 60 on the Panthers. I had a few people that didn't look at the team sheets message me and were like, mate, maybe Willie Mason was right because he made a prediction that the Panthers missed the 8 and he's been getting in hose for it. And I was like, mate, have you seen the difference in the lineups right now? Do not write off the Panthers. I think that is crazy. But the standouts for me from the other games, I think the try that Tigers winger scored, Tino Tavana, I think he's 21 or 22. That was one of the great finishes that we've ever seen. And if that was in a competition game, not a preseason, I'd probably rank it right up there. Like Xavier Coates for me against the Warriors, that heartbreaker.
Yeah, but he hasn't gone around the...
No,
he hasn't gone around the
but
thing.
That was a game winner.
Yeah.
In
Context.
the air. Yeah, context I think matters. I think that Mark Nwanganituasi try was right up there.
The kick.
Yeah, the kick.
Yeah.
And then he scores it because that was just freakish. But in terms of like out and out finishes, like you said, he went around the corner flag. The ability to control your body, to not put your feet down, to stay balanced in the air, to plant the ball.
Plant the ball inside the line when you're so far outside of the line.
Freakish. And like your natural instinct there, right, is to put your legs down or an arm down, because anytime, like if you try fall over, you're going to brace yourself. His ability, 2 hands on the ball, and then he just reaches out with the one hand. Like, that was freakish stuff. I know that they've got outside backs galore, but that's something you have to consider just off the back of that. So that was unreal. I watched that replay 10 plus times, eh?
I love the way that where the comments were like, are you allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Because no one had seen it before.
Yeah.
They were like, shit, are you allowed to actually come back?
It probably wouldn't have been allowed, right? Corner flag was out. And did he touch the corner flag?
I think his like arms did as he was like going to plant it around the outside. But, geez, heck of a try in preseason.
Freakish finish. So I love that. That lit up. Like, social media responded accordingly to that. That was a great finish. Matty Burden going down with a hamstring strain.
Oh, it's niggly, eh?
Mate, like, they already had a bit of debate around their halves. Mitch Wood's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Everyone was saying he might pair with Lockie Galvin and then Birdo into the centres. Well, now they've got themselves a race against time, literally. Like, Sean O'Sullivan's there. He's a good little depth signing for them because he can do a job round 1, and their opponent week 1 doesn't look like they're going to cause many threats in the Dragons, who lost to the Bunnies B/C/D team at full strength, which, if you're a Dragons fan, you can be crashing out early because that was embarrassing. But yeah, the Dogs, an interesting one. If Burden's out for 2 to 3 weeks and he misses round 1, it's a market mover.
Well, it's a hamstring. They said it was like a grade 1. Whether it's a grade 1 or grade 2, we don't know. But either way, it's a 2 to 3 sort of 4 to 5 range, right?
Yeah.
Which therefore rules you out of round 1 or 2. So it's really niggly, and it could be longer.
How gutted would you be, right? Like, your eyes have been on Vegas this whole time, and there was a Cowboys centre, I think it was Labour, who he's up for a 2-week suspension as well. Tip tackle after the guy had passed the ball, like, so unnecessary in preseason. It might have cost you one of the great benders with the boys in Vegas.
On that, imagine getting a head knock in Vegas.
Oh.
A concussion in Vegas. That would probably be the worst.
True, because you're there, but you can't drink.
And then you're alive. You're sweet.
Yeah,
but
pre-game HIA, ruled out of the game, so you don't even get to play, and then you can't even get on the tins with the lads.
Yeah.
That would be just as heartbreaking. Imagine, just you're suspended for a tip tackle in preseason and you watch the boys board the plane. That would eat you alive. And yeah, then my third talking point was just the Dragons going down. Like, that's disappointing for them. Another thing to watch too, the Knights, they were kept scoreless against the Dogs, 28-0. And the Knights, for me, last year, their attack was woeful. New coach, so I think a lot of Knights fans had hoped with Dylan Brown in the mix too, their attack would be a whole lot more exciting, but 28-0 to the Dogs, unable to score a try in preseason. That's just something to watch. They've still got Ponga and a few players to come back, but Bradman Best, Dylan Brown, Dommy Young, like, you should be, like Fletcher Sharp, you should be scoring at least one try.
Yep. Completely agree. Let's move on to the NRL All Stars game.
Yes, All Stars game.
Wow, what a game.
What a game, bro.
Why is it not gone to extra time? Can we start there?
We actually spoke about this, right, last night via WhatsApp, and we were saying, I put the idea forward because you said basically a penalty shootout, like in football, right?
I was just thinking, shit, we can't end it there, surely.
No. So preseason laws suggest 80 minutes is the max you can play, and I guess because this falls in the preseason window, they can't go to golden point, which is the ruling around it. Frustrating. I don't think the players knew, Like, Fish said post-game that they were ready to go to extra time.
I heard people going, oh, yeah, like, and you could hear the groan from the crowd when someone was like, full time. And everyone's like, what?
So I will take your idea of the penalty shootout.
Oh, it's got to be something. If you can't play any minutes,
exactly.
It's got to be something.
And I will say it's 3 players from each team, 20 out in front, and then it moves out from there.
Yep.
And the opposition team picks the players that kick for your team. And it goes 1 for 1. So say the Indigenous, say Royce Hunt, you're taking the first shot. And then the Māori team come back and they say Shaq Mitchell, you're kicking. And we get to see some big boppers just toe hack the shit out of it from right in front. Because that way, these guys have to practice during the week. I reckon it would make for great content.
No one wants to lift a trophy next to the opposition captain in preseason. You don't want that. What do you do in post-match? Do you have a couple of beers, but then what do?
You celebrate the draw.
And then you just end it and you go to bed.
I like how they were saying culture wins. Culture was the winner, and I get that. Like, a great takeaway from that. And in the end, like, a draw was kind of a fair result.
Absolutely.
I thought it was a heck of a game, but yeah, it just didn't feel right. On the other end, the start of the game, that was actually one of my 2 Michelob moments this week. Because I've got 2. I couldn't split it.
Wow.
But I have to say the cultural, like the war dances before it, so sick. That was one of the best huckers I have ever seen. I just, like, the hairs were standing up. I thought it was unreal. To see Adam Pompey kick it off was really cool to see as Warriors fans too. And just, that Māori All Stars team does a hissing haka. I thought the Indigenous All Stars did a great Aboriginal war cry as well. And that just, like, sets the tone in terms of the passion. I think from there you knew it was going to be intense, it was going to be physical, and it was going to be a big step up compared to the other preseason games we saw this weekend. Like, right from the opening whistle, you could sense that. And the players were saying it post-game, they were saying, don't move the game. So my take on that is out the window. If that's what the players want, if they want it to be in this preseason window, then it stays there.
What was your take? You'd rather it?
I'd rather it just at the end of the year. I think we saw an example of it with Josh Kerr and Leo Thompson being ruled out late as well. Like, these guys, I think they would have picked up minor niggles and their clubland coaches would have been like, nah, you're not playing. Whereas if you play it at the end of the NRL season before the Pac Champs gets underway, there's that week where the Prime Minister's 13 plays for Australia. Like, play it then the NRL coaches won't care as much if someone is carrying maybe a dodgy-ish calf, but if it was a round 1 game, they would 100% play. Because I just want to see the best players out there and not be limited. Like, the Raiders sent no one. Like a KO Weeks, like an Ethan Strange. I want to see those guys playing. So that was my logic around it. But I get what the players were saying. It should be the game that kicks off the NRL calendar. If that's the case, though, then play it before the first week of preseason game 1. Just so that, like, we've already had a round of preseason with those Vegas teams playing. Maybe you play it that weekend rather than the weekend where all the clubs are playing NRL preseason too, because you have guys like Aaron Clark, like, I don't know his reasoning for not playing that, but he played for the Warriors, so maybe the clash forced him to make a decision. Like, if you play it the week before, he might have played All Stars and then played a preseason game for the Warriors as well and not had to make that choice. But
they've got to keep the game. They've got to keep the game 100%, and they said that after the game, right?
I think you 100% have to keep the game. It's so important, not just culturally, but it's a great chance for some of these guys to represent their culture and on a big stage too. Like, I thought the jerseys were sick for both teams. I thought the crowd was really good in Hamilton. I thought the women's game was epic. Even the touch games.
Yeah, how good was the touch game?
The touch games were gun as well. Yeah. So I really rate it as a concept, and you can tell how much it means to the players, and they're the ones who should decide whether it's kept or not, because I think they have their fingers on the pulse around what it means to them to wear their jerseys. So 100% keep it, and I just thought, the war cries from both teams set the tone, and then the game was out the gate. And I thought, as a Warriors fan watching, because of course I'm biased, I'm running through them, I thought our lads performed really well. Obviously, Tamaire Martin, a slight worry there, but Monty at the time on the commentary was saying it looked like a bit of a cork because he caught Britain Nikara's leg swinging round, so hopefully that's all it is. I thought they really missed him in his kicking game throughout that game, so fingers crossed T's all right, no real update there. But I thought Jacob Laban scored the first try.
Good try off.
Yeah, beautiful ball from Chance.
Yes, that'll get the Instagram haters talking.
Exactly, that will get the Instagram pages talking. But I thought Laban throughout this game performed really well. Big body, eh? And it just looks like he's so much more comfortable at this level now. And his size, his speed, his skill set, like he's putting his hand up for a starting second row spot. Shit, are we blessed there for the Warriors? I thought James Fisher-Harris was man of the match. I know Keanu Kinney got it, and he was really good too. I didn't understand why he didn't finish the game.
And he also said he didn't deserve it.
Yeah, well, that's typical him though, eh? Yeah. Most humble guy ever. The only humble bloke from Rosmini I've ever met. But, geez, he's just so down to earth. I thought he should have been on at the end of the game there. I get he was probably on a minutes restriction again, instructions from Clubland maybe.
There we go.
He missed the whole year with his neck, so he's still working his way back. But a smaller body like that, I feel like every time he runs the ball at full speed, he gets head-high'd, gets a penalty, and it can be a momentum changer. But I thought Fish looked so silky. Like, his ball playing through the middle, he started the game at lock. The way he was throwing those passes, he's not just a battering ram. He turned more into a battering ram later in the game when he moved into the middle. But I thought he was really good. I thought Adam Pompey, interesting, he started the game. He came on at like second row. He was in the middle a bit there, which is something now with this extended bench that I wouldn't be surprised if we see happen more. A centre that can play second row, and when you think about it in Warriors terms, say Pompey starts, then you 6 points behind with 15 minutes to go. You've used 3 interchanges. You've kept one up your sleeve. You have a Cam Pereira or a Tain Tuapiki on the bench still ready to go. You chuck them in. You move Pompey to second row. You can move Roger off the wing to an edge, to centre, to fill Pompey's spot. And then you insert an AKP or a Tain or a Tamaire, another playmaker. Like guys like that who can play centre, second row could be so valuable. And I thought Witts was really good there as well. In terms of other players that stood out, I thought Chans was good as well, did his job. Dallin scored a really nice try. AKP scored a try, which was more just a finish, but I think Dallin's try, he still had a fair bit of work to do.
He came off the right foot,
yeah.
got hit as he was coming off the right foot, and then sort of, I think, beat one and then dived in with another guy on him. Rolled over, planted it down with
bit of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Couple nice defensive reads, which will no doubt keep a few people quiet as well, but that was good to see, and I think he would have taken a lot of confidence from that game. I thought Britain Nikara was outstanding.
Runs a great line.
A couple nice nudges. Yeah. Left footer, he put one in the in goal. They trapped them, repeat set. Also set up Dell's try with that grubber. Also like to look at Trey Mooney. He looks like a bloke who's just hyper aggressive, and I think he'll be great for the Knights this year. So plenty of standouts from that game. I just thought overall the Warriors lads looked really good. And it was straight away having me thinking, chucking them back in the team against the Dolphins this weekend is going to be huge. But Fish, man, I thought he was another level, eh?
Yep, very good game, very good spectacle. I hope they keep it. And like you talked about before, it's just about getting it at the right spot in the calendar, making sure all the right things so that we can actually get the best game out of it, because that's the most important thing. You don't want to have it and not know anyone playing. You want to have the best time where it, A, fits the players and their schedules, and then also at the right time of the year. Like, so you think, what is the time that you want it?
Now that the players have spoken, and obviously they're the most important factor, I think it starts the weekend that the Vegas teams play preseason. I think we have it on there. just so that those teams don't have to make a decision week 1, week 2 of the preseason. Guys will still be held out 100% because teams are prioritising their season, but you might see the odd 1 or 2 also jump in and play this game. And I think every second year it should alternate between Australia and New Zealand because I think having it in Hamilton was sick.
We've already talked about Peter V'landys. Let's move on to the next topic.
Yes.
Global round.
Yes.
Talk to me about it.
This is an interesting one. So he actually did a podcast with Hello Sport, who I'm a big fan of. They're Aussie lads, larrikins, great banter, half Kiwi too, friends of the show, good sorts. But they sat down with PVL, the god, the son of God. And, he governs God's game, so he's right up there. And he has confirmed this global round, which was rumoured a while back, and he's confirmed that he wants it to kick off as soon as next year. So basically he's saying he looks to the NFL around ideas around how they've grown the game. He thinks that they've had the perfect blueprint. They've been playing games in London. They're bringing a game to Australia, Germany, things like that. So he thinks in order to make the game a bit bigger globally, that the NRL should do this launch. He's saying Vegas game next year plus 3 other games happening on a 24-hour clock basically throughout the day. So there'll be footy from 9 a.m. through till 9 p.m., whatever time zone you're in. It'll run through the whole day. He's talking Japan, he's talking London, he's talking the Middle East.
All in one round.
All in one round on the same day. The thought of that is incredibly exciting. A, because I want to travel to watch the Warriors. Going to watch them in Vegas was insane. But imagine a Warriors game in London. Like, imagine the amount of expat Kiwis.
How would Kiwis love that over there?
Oh, it would just be a big steam up, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like the crowd attendance would be huge too. Obviously, it makes sense. They're league fans already. They got the Super League. But then the amount of expat Aussies and Kiwis, I reckon it would go off. I'm all for this, I reckon it's cool. And he's right. In order to grow the game, you do have to play games overseas. I get that Vegas, like it was just packed with Aussies, Kiwis, and English. But at the same time, it's got to have some sort of impact too. Like, we took over Vegas for that day, which was incredibly hard to do. I rate this idea. I think it's cool. I think the players will love it too. It gives them a bit more exposure around the world and a chance to travel. And I just rate how he's willing to pick things from other sports. He's not too egotistic to see the NFL doing this amazingly and try pick up from that. I think he senses blood in the water in terms of other sports and fans that he could try take a couple off. And he's really looking to push the limits, which I like.
I really like that about that. And that point that you made about the sort of taking in other sports' ideas, I think is exactly what needs to happen in New Zealand as well. If you take the Warriors matchday experience, you take the Auckland FC matchday experience at the same ground, 2 very, very different but good experiences.
Yep.
And then you go to other games and you go, shit, I wish it was like that. So I think that sort of mindset is actually really valuable in a league because taking games, one game in Japan on 9 a.m. in the morning, and then you go, and then midday, and it's in, I don't know, London, and then the next game is in France. It's just like, that would just be a nuts sort of way to expand the game. And I love the way he's just decided, shit, I love that about that. Let's grab that and let's take it into our own, put our own spin on it.
Yeah, big time. And I also think like it makes the game more appealing to players that want to get amongst it too. You can still tick a box. For so long, the knock has been rugby as a global game. You can travel the world. NRL's just Australia and New Zealand. Well, you throw in one game a year where you're playing overseas. That helps too. I saw Wallace Atiti and the boys at the Indigenous game.
Trying to hide.
Yeah, trying to hide. Jeez, he'd be a heck of a second rower. Kyron Talmoifalau on the wing would go good too. But yeah, it's exciting time. Should we talk some Super Rugby actually?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Good little segue there. That Friday night game actually dished up my second Michelob moment of the week.
Oh, that's right. You got 2 this week.
I do, and that was Cammy Miller. I couldn't not go with that clutch nudge that he banged over to win the game. But I actually thought that that first game was the perfect example of what Super Rugby should be. Under the roof, high intensity, high tempo, high speed. I thought the new laws worked perfectly. Couple free kicks there instead of going to scrum, just sped things up so much. And I thought that was probably the game of the weekend for me in terms of a Kiwi footy fan. And I just loved it. Upset, defending champions go down, good crowd, zoo full of students. They're doing the spirit fingers as Cam Miller clutched King Cam. And I just love how he almost went from hero to zero there in a moment where he put that little chip kick through to Will Jordan. I thought that
that was an average decision.
I thought that was potentially the decision that could have cost them the game, right? Will went on a massive run and shit, he almost turned that game for the Crusaders. But then he gets this hero moment where, like he did in the Ranfurly Shield for Otago, he bangs it over from 48 odd meters out on the angle, and it never looked like missing. He was so confident, he just stepped up and nudged it. Like, I thought that was the perfect finish to what was a bloody good game. We had Tavatawa Nawai playing
Big Jim, the difference.
first game in 5 months, bro, and it looked like he hadn't missed the game at all. Caleb Tangito scoring tries. That try Jonah Lowe scored is going to be right up there for try of the year contender. Like Big Jim with the arm around the back, the offload, great team try. Will Jordan comes on, almost turns the game. Noah Hotham, outstanding. Blackadder, great. Cody Taylor, really good. Like, to me, that ticked every box as a Kiwi rugby fan in terms of what I wanted to see for the first game of the season.
You couldn't have asked for a better game, sort of. You wanted they got the schedule right. We talked about that last week. Yeah. They got the schedule right, put some derby games on round one, and they got what they wanted. I mean, Jamie Joseph showed his credentials. We'll talk about that very shortly.
Oh, you reckon that was the final tick in the box?
I'm not sure whether it was the final tick, but it's a hell of a... Like, the biggest thing I took out of that game was pre-match... I'm not sure whether we talked about it last week because the lineups weren't out, but the Crusaders forward pack on the bench, the 2 bench props and the hooker was Cody Taylor, George Bow and Fletcher Newell. So that impact coming off the bench, everyone was talking about how the Highlanders scrum was just going to go backwards in that last 15 minutes. But what Jamie Joe did is he then changed Ethan de Groot and Angus Ta'avao to come on in the second half, made that adjustment so that no one knew about it until the game, and then Ethan de Groot and Angus Ta'avao came on, steadied the scrum when the All Blacks scrums came on, and then eventually they won the game. Yeah. So that just shows the sort of Jamie Joseph sort of mindset around not afraid to adapt, and that's kind of what I picked up from it.
I like that. Almost the game within the game, right? And he nailed it too. The Highlanders scrum at the start was getting demolished.
Yes, but you'd rather it at the start than at the end,
exactly.
Right?
If you're giving away like a penalty at the back end of that game, a scrum penalty could have cost them the game. And if their pack was getting demolished by that starting Crusaders front row, then they would have got eaten alive, those guys off the bench, from the impact that came on. Yeah, I thought the Landers pack, I thought they were going to get out-muscled 100%. Again, they just showed they're always in the contest. They're punchy down there. They don't give up. They're workhorses. I love the impact they got off the bench from the Fijian 7 who plays for
Vivini Lasanga?
Yeah, big fan, eh? I reckon he just flies into everything, eh? And he's a guy that empties the tank. But I said the Highlanders were always a team to watch. I didn't think they were going to tip up the Crusaders, but this makes them even more of a team to watch. They got the Chiefs this week, which we'll talk about more on Thursday's pod, but yeah, shit. Exciting team to watch. Just razzle under the roof. They throw the ball around, but in a calculated way. And I was just stoked to see this result, purely because I don't really like the Crusaders, but also because I think it's so good for Super Rugby.
Yep, completely agree. And let's move on the same topic of State of Origin, Super Rugby edition.
Yes.
The Waratahs versus the Reds. High-scoring game. Geez, Max Jorgensen, hell of a player. What did you make out of that game?
Yeah, he is a hell of a player. And to have him locked up until 2031 when the Sydney Roosters were calling for him is a great...
I can see why.
Yeah, a great achievement for Australian rugby. He can go. I thought the Waratahs did the basics well. They executed well, and then they've just got this X factor out wide. And the Reds, great side. We said that they play an exciting brand. They play almost a Kiwi style of football. But I think the Tahs just ticked every box. They had a good preseason. And it looks like they've got a real toughness about their forward
they beat them up, eh?
Yeah, they've got a good roster on paper, and they did last year, to be fair, but they've made a couple more additions, and it seems like obviously we touched on the fight in preseason, right? But what that does tell you is there's a bit of an intensity, a toughness about their training sessions, and it carried into the game. Like, they just seemed a whole lot more aggressive and up for it. And it's a good scalp for them to claim early, because if you can win that Aussie kind of conference, those derby games, you can afford to go down to a couple of the Kiwi sides and still be right in the playoff mix. So, yeah, great result for the Tahs. And I think we tipped them out on the pod as underdogs to get on healthy. I think I went 1-12 though, and it ended up being 13 plus. So that was a little bit heartbreaking, but yeah, great result for the Tahs. Just on the idea of punting too, I had someone send me a Manly bet slip, Manly 13 plus against the Warriors, paying $13.
Yes.
I sprayed them for backing against us, but
and then
also,
sending it to you.
Yes, but also great punting. $13, you take that every day of the week. But yeah, well done to the Tahs. Excited to watch their season progress, because I think they have the depth now to overcome some injuries, whereas last year they didn't. So yeah, they'll be a real watch.
Yep, very good victory for them. Then we move on to Lautoka. We're a bit of an upset here.
Yes.
Hell of a game. It looked hot. Looked very hot in Lautoka, as usual in Fiji. the Fijian draw versus Moana Pacifica. Moana Pacifica getting the win. Miracle Wailangi hat-trick.
Love that. Love that. 3 tries, his leadership, like he's obviously the skipper this year and it hasn't affected him at all. Love listening to him speak post-game because he's not a player that we've heard talk a lot prior to the captaincy. I thought he was outstanding. I thought Moana were really good. I think the draw were really disappointing though. In particular in Lautoka, like a spot that they've made a fortress. Their set piece, line-out time, like... I can't barely remember them winning a line-out. I thought they were shambles. They were pushing passes that weren't sticking. To me, the draw, they're one of those teams when they look amazing, they look amazing. When they're off, and they were off big time. And it was just a shame that happened at home in front of their home crowd, but a great road win for Moana. To go over there and bank that week 1, it's probably the time you want to make the trip to, catch them while there's some cobwebs. And yeah, there were plenty of standouts for Moana, but I do think Miracle was the pick of the bunch. I thought Pellegrini at times looked really good. A bit of an off day at times with the boot. Couple nudges he'd like back. But I think they've built enough trust now to know that they've got that consistency in their game, but they've also got that razzle, that physicality too. And they will be licking their lips at the thought of taking on the Canes this week with perhaps no Ruben Love, ankle injury. The poor bloke, I think we've got it as a talking point to touch on shortly, but we may as well now. I believe he picked up a slight little niggle while running this youth camp day.
Oh, you're kidding. Was it then?
Yeah, that he put on for just basically to train with kids. Like a great initiative, right? And if that is the case, then that is brutal because that just discourages players or clubs from letting players do things like this in the future. And I think it's something we need to see more of. Like we saw Artie doing these road runs with the Canes fans. Then we've seen Ruben Love do a couple and then he put on this youth day. So fingers crossed it's not bad. I found it interesting. Love gets hurt on Valentine's Day.
Yes. Well, it announced on Valentine's Day.
There's got to be something in that, right?
Yeah.
Bad omen. But I hope he's back and I hope he's back shortly. But I think Moana will head down to Wellington extremely confident that they could perhaps catch the Canes off the back of a bad loss to the Chiefs in pre-season, then a week off, their first real hit out. But yeah, positive signs for Moana.
Just quickly on Miracle Wailangi, have you heard about why his name's Miracle?
No, I'm guessing he was a miracle.
Well, but his mother was giving birth to him while his dad was in hospital in surgery. So the surgery on his dad was happening at the same time that his mum gave birth to him. So they named him Miracle.
That's sick.
It's great story, eh?
He was destined for things.
For greatness.
And he's that first kind of Moana player to come across from the islands on this program that they have.
Contract, yeah.
Scholarship, and then just rip up. Like, he's come on in leaps and bounds. What a player to watch.
And then we go up the highway, Blues Chiefs. Last on Saturday night. Jeez, I was gutted. Gutted. But it was a good game. It was a good game in a way because it was very scrappy. There was very, very little fluidity, but yes. I was impressed with some specific players. What about you?
Yeah, so I found this one a little bit more of a frustrating watch. I was so keen for this game. It was the one I was most excited for this weekend. I thought handling errors. I thought a lot of kicking that at times was pretty aimless, and the game never really got its flow on. At the same time, it was physical. It was intense, and as you mentioned, players stood up. I actually thought the Blues were the better team for 60-odd minutes and created more opportunities. They just at times didn't capitalise on them. In terms of standouts, like I'll get yours shortly, I thought Tupou Vaa'i was unreal. Was that a try?
Was it a try? Good question. I was just thinking that.
We saw it ruled out the night before.
Ben O'Keefe said clearly on the broadcast, from what I've heard, that he said that there was no ruck formed.
Yep.
And that from what I've heard is that you can jump to score the try. You can jump to score the try, but you can't physically see a tackle coming and jump over it. So I think that's the specific ruling, which is very interpretation-based. And that was sort of my take on it. What was your take on it? Because we did see it ruled out the night before and then a try and set out. No.
I initially thought great athleticism.
Yeah.
And I was celebrating the try, and then I thought about it and was like, wait a minute. As I watched the replays, I was like, hang on.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. So I think it's a 50-50 one. For sure, it's going to come down to interpretation. I guess the TMO could rule on that if they wanted to as well, potentially.
It must be that Tupou Vaa'i got the ball and dived for the line, and then the tackle's seen it and then dived and tried to tackle him. You know what I mean?
Because the Blues players were complaining at the time too, right?
Well, I mean, they probably saw the one night before and thought, hey.
Yeah. So a bit of grey area. I wish I could jump over a player and
Yes.
score a try. It's great athleticism. And then Tupou Vaa'i all around the paddock was just bruising. I thought he was exceptional, and it was good to see. In terms of other Chiefs lads, I thought Quinn Tupaia was really good in the midfield. Just continues to put his hand up for that All Blacks 12 jersey.
Didn't play a minute of preseason.
Crazy, eh? To be able to just, like, that shows quality.
74 minutes he played as well.
Just a player that can just rock up and produce a performance like that. I actually enjoyed the battle between him and Peter Aki, who I thought was pretty good as well. So that was a cool battle. Obviously, Cortez was really good off the bench too. Geez, what a nice double 9 combo they have in terms of that punch with Xavier Rowe there as well. So they were the standouts for me there for the Chiefs. Anyone else stand out for you?
I thought Luke Jacobson had an okay game. He's a very interesting player because he doesn't get a lot of headlines because he just does the dirty work.
Workhorse, eh?
But I was actually impressed. Put a couple of shots on. Sammy Penny-Finau has a lot to prove this year. Didn't really get much game time with the All Blacks last year. Thought he was impressive when he came on.
Taukiaho good as well.
Taukiaho good.
Yeah.
Good for the fantasy team also.
Yes. Yeah.
He runs hard, Sam Sony. So yeah, those are the players for the Chiefs. What about the Blues?
Your boy, Torian Barnes.
Torian Barnes.
Big fan now. He's become a household name at the Seals. Like, just big, physical, skill set as well, young. Love hearing stories like that, like this wider draft, moves up from the Canterbury region, becomes a starter, keeps a guy like Segner on the bench. And yeah, he screams like international level, like he's ready, like not ready for that. His game suits that style of play. I think over the next couple years, he could well wear the black jersey. And it was sick to hear him say post-game, like just how stoked he was to be playing at that level. But I thought he was really good. In terms of other Blues, that I thought Dalton had a really strong game as well, which was great to see. Perifeta, cool to see a guy who has spoken a lot over the last week around the mental side of his injuries and how much of a toll that's had on him off field. Great to see him get through like unscathed and put in a good performance too. And I thought Zahn Sullivan was really good as well. Another guy who's battled with injury, right? But Perifeta had a bad day off the boot. They got Zahn who steps in and knocks over conversions. And that try he scored, I thought that was a lovely line that he ran as well. Bradley Slater, pretty good too. The other hooker who came on, actually met him at the races without realising.
James Mullen?
He was with the Blues lads. He was with Quinn's brother, Mason Tupaia, and a couple other Blues lads. And yeah, loves a tin. Good ruse, but didn't realise that he was actually the Blues hooker. He said he played for the Blues, and I was like, oh yeah, but there we go. Shout out to James Mullen. He's an aggressive character as well, eh?
Yeah, they got some good hookers. Kurt Eklund still to come back. Eli Odenrin, who played for the New Zealand 20s, he's also a very good player.
I saw that Bees game.
Well, Kurt Eklund injured, as in he
played for
playing.
the Bees.
I'm not sure he had a full preseason. I think he had a niggle all the way through
Gotcha.
preseason, so didn't play.
Did you see Amoni Narawa on the wing for the Chiefs Bees?
Yeah, I
and
did.
I saw that they got 50 put on him and they lost. But
He
Ollie
came
Norris
off.
on the bench as well.
Yeah, they're just trying to get minutes back into them, I assume.
Yeah.
Late coming back in preseason. I turned up halfway through that game and I saw the last 5 minutes of that first half and Narawa was on. And then I'm pretty sure he didn't come back out for the second half. So,
Hopefully just a 40-minute run.
yeah, just would have been minutes in the legs.
Imagine being like a plumber or a tradie and you work all week and then you rock up on a Saturday, you fizz for an opportunity and you're marking an All Black winger.
Or you've got a scrum against Ollie Norris.
Yeah, and you're like, this isn't fair. Like, these guys should be playing Super Rugby. That would really piss you off. But that just shows the depth going around. Well done to the Chiefs. I think it's going to prove to be an important win. I think the Blues will be gutted, but not, like, there's still positives for them to take from that because, as I think we both agreed on, they were probably the better side for a large majority. They just couldn't finish it.
Yep, agree with all those players. And then quickly just Brumbies. Pretty average there. Brumbies getting the win. What was your thoughts?
See, I tipped the Force for the upset too.
Yeah.
And at about 20-minute mark, 10-7 I think it was, I thought we're on here. Stoked to see Tizano score. No doubt everyone had him in their multis.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Did you have him in your fantasy team?
No, I mean, I didn't have him in my multi just because I didn't punt on that. But
Yeah.
then I didn't have him in my fantasy team. I avoided him.
I don't think he scored that well in the end. I think he was about 30 odd, so fair enough. I actually swapped him out for Miracle late. And I am heartbroken at that. But good to see him score. Yeah, look, Brumbies, I feel like they're a team every year I write them off. They lost players. They lost a load of good players. And I thought perhaps they're done. Clearly they're not. Clearly the Force still aren't quite there. Could be a tough year for them in the draw, I'm fearing.
Surly Super MVP Award.
I thought we could do this.
Yeah, I think so.
Like a 3-2-1 each week where we both do it, and then at the end of the year, we add up the points.
Are we agreeing on this, or are we like...
No, we can do our own,
Okay.
but say you give someone 3, I give them 2, they get 5 from week 1, and it's a running tally. So I'll kick you off with my 3-2-1. My 3 went to Tupou Vati. I thought he was outstanding. My 2, Tava Nawai, and my 1 went to Miracle Whailangi. Yours, please.
Are we doing all super franchises or just New Zealand?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go Tupou Vati 3 as well.
Nice.
I'm going to go Miracle Whailangi 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go Charlie Cale.
Bloody good.
2 tries, very good footballer out of the Brumbies, played very well, definitely a big bolter for the Wallabies. So I'll go him with 1 point.
I rate a guy with a last name off like a health food as well. Like you just know he's going to rip in.
Green smoothies.
Yeah, he's going to perform at the highest level. So that means we've both got Tupou Vati taking max points.
Yeah.
So he'll be in first, Miracle Whailangi in second, and then I think just off pure weight of votes, Tava Nawai gets third, but Kale's sniffing in there. And to be fair, I think he got 100-odd fantasy points.
113 in my team, he was.
Well done.
Yes.
Well played, well played. In terms of other sport to touch on this week, just wanted to mention T20 World Cup, the upset of doom. Zimbabwe getting up over Australia. There's not many things I like seeing more than upsets in sport, in particular when it involves the Australians. This was one of those games I was not watching at all, but then my phone lit up with 3 overs to spare, and I thought, 34 runs off 17 balls they needed. I thought, this will be an exciting finish, but Aussie will get home. To see Zimbabwe win was bloody good. I think they're ranked 11th in T20 at the moment, so they're not that bad, but this has to be their biggest win in T20, if not probably. They used to be really good at one day, as I remember back in the day, but a huge scalp for them.
Well, when you get 169 for 2 off your 20 overs, in this day and age, in a T20, that's not a lot. That's under par.
Yeah.
And especially on these wickets in India, it's definitely
Against
under par.
Australia too.
Against Australia, it's well under par. And then they bowl them out for 146.
Love it.
Brilliant.
Love it. Their pace bowler, I can't remember his name. He was running a muck, took a few wickets. He looked the real deal. So, do you have his name?
Yeah, I'm just getting that as we speak.
Yeah.
Was it Muzabayani?
Sounds about right to me.
4 wickets. I mean,
yeah, that'll be.
Someone else got 3 wickets.
Nah, that would have been him. Bowled at the death too. Took a few big scalps.
17 runs he only conceded as well off his 4 overs.
Love that. Like, that's what the T20 World Cup is all about, right? And that's why you want multiple teams in this competition, not just straight to the Super 8. That was good to see. I almost had a heart attack on the weekend reading Lockie Ferguson heading home for the birth of his child, but the caveat made me feel good again. Should be back for the Super 8.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. I mean, it's a lot of money. No, it's a lot of money to...
Conspiracy.
Nah, no conspiracies.
Mate, you pay the business class flights for
absolutely,
Lockie.
Absolutely. I'm just thinking, what if it's a week delay? What if the baby's 3 days late or something like that? And then we get a different fixture and then he misses the first one and we lose that or whatever happens. Like, I'm just thinking logistically, it's an interesting one. And you don't really want to hear that in the middle of the tournament, do you?
No. Mrs. Ferguson, the fate of our nation relies on you at the T20 World Cup. Just... get the job done, healthily, of course, but let's just deliver this baby so that Lockie can come back selfishly as a cricket fan, because we obviously went down to South Africa. We've got Canada Tuesday, tomorrow night, 6:30. That should be a goodie.
Great time.
3+ leg, same game multi, misses by 1, bonus cash back up to $20. So have a bit of a swing on the cricket. If we bat first, this could be one of those games where
220.
Finn and Seifert just do it themselves, assuming they're playing, and you back them in to score plenty of sixes. So it could be a nice little one for a same gamer.
So we've basically made, unless something goes terribly wrong, we've made the Super 8.
Yes, because Afghanistan lost to South Africa, but it looked like they were going to beat them, and a few of my mates were like, get up Afghanistan, and I was like, no. Because then after we lost to South Africa, we'd all be on 1-1. Right? Yeah.
So, no, that's all right. Are you still India to win, thinking that they're going to win?
Yeah, I am. I saw they demolished Pakistan overnight, right? 71 odd runs they bet them by. I think they played that game in Sri Lanka because Pakistan didn't want to play in India, which is fair enough. But yeah, I think they're still the favourites. I back us though, like on a
just
one-off
a Kiwi,
game.
is that just a Kiwi thing that you just...
I feel like that's a Black Caps thing too, to just rock up and beat India. And I feel like we've had the wood on them in a weird way over, obviously not recently in that series, that 5-game series, but I feel like as of recent results, we've done all right against India. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope.
Another thing that's on my mind, geez, the NBA All Stars weekend. I was talking to my mate Addison about this the other day.
Yeah.
Geez, the NBA's dropped off for me. I just think the 82 games needs to change.
Oh, the regular season too.
Yeah, I'm just it's dropping off in general, I think. I just think in general, there's just so many games. The All-Star weekend this weekend, dunk contest, people just doing normal dunks because they were running out of time. And
yeah, that was crazy. That Jackson Hayes one, I'm sorry. That was an in-game dunk that wouldn't even make a highlight reel.
I watched a guy miss 3 dunks, go up for it and go, nah, that's not the right one, I'll go do it again. And then just had to do a 361, which these days is a sort of normal one.
Yeah. I watched a guy knock himself out on the backboard.
It was just a shit show.
It was a shit show, and it sucks because I feel like All-Star Weekend used to just be this big thing, glitz and glamour, all the celebs there.
Is it now, though?
No. And you had like Zach Levine, Aaron Gordon, Shaq, like all these famous highlights, right, that we see. And it's just so far. I haven't watched one thing, and I'm a basketball fan.
I haven't either.
I love regular season basketball. I think fantasy keeps me so locked in, and it's a great sport to punt on. There's games every day.
Oh, I 100% agree. I just mean the fact that there's just so many games.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
You lose track of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And there's players always sitting out, things like that. So night to night, you don't know who's lacing up. So they do have an issue there. I just think the All-Star weekend has fallen apart. I think players now prioritize it. They treat it as a rest. Some guys don't want to make it. They just want to rest at the back end of their career. Then you have guys that do make it, but they're not going hard in these games because they want to rest their body. Their franchises pay them so much money. They want to win an NBA championship. This is from here on out is where the NBA season steps up in intensity. So they're saving themselves for that. But yeah, the dunk contest shambles. I saw Dame won the 3-point contest.
Devin Booker should have won that. Did you see it?
Yeah, fell apart a bit at the
Needed
end,
one of the final 3 from the corner.
Disappointing for him. And when you have a guy that hasn't played a minute winning the 3-point contest, like I get that that's probably all he's been practicing is threes because he's been injured, but like he shouldn't have as good of a feel as these guys should have been shooting in games the whole season. Oh, yeah. The actual game itself, I believe, is happening right now pretty much as we're recording it, and I have no desire to watch it. It's just a bit sad.
There needs to be something on the line.
I don't know what the fix is anymore. I thought like this European versus American thing would be kind of cool because I felt like the States would take it so personally that they would want to fight for like national pride because they're so patriotic, but I don't think it's worked. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not ticking the box for me at the moment. I don't know if you do it at the end of the year and then it's a bit more intensity around it. Like
something needs to change.
Something does need to change, yeah. It's just sad what it once was to now. Yeah.
And then finally, geez, there was some chaos on Waitemata Harbour the other day.
Oh, Sail GP.
There was some chaos.
I drove over the bridge a couple times, and I got to say, it looks so sick. Like driving over the bridge, seeing these boats going at 80, 85 Ks, like just flying. Windy, big weekend for it, which led to some danger. And I was loving the black foils. They were looking great. Third and then first, ready to rip. And then I tell you what, like I know Lewis Sinclair, the grinder, came away with compound fractures in both legs and stoked to hear his surgery was successful and he's going to be sweet. But I almost think that that was one of the better outcomes from that crash, as crazy as it is to say that. Like, they're going 80-odd Ks, lose control, French boat over the top. There could be something horrible happen.
There was a French guy in hospital as well.
Yeah, I believe he's okay. He's okay too. Yeah. But, like, it could have been so much worse. I get that we are after speed. We're after these boats foiling, just going rapid. But they look so easy to lose control of. All you need is a shift in wind, which can happen a lot. And it's literally the whole purpose of the sport. And you lose control of the steering. Like, I wonder if there's just a balance they need to find between safety and entertainment. Because, like every sport, we want it to be quicker. We want it to be more exciting. But it does lead to pretty scary moments like this. I saw the Kiwi boat was so damaged, they were chucking the damaged part in a skip bin. They were literally just tossing it into one of those big green waste bins that was on site, and they've pretty much been ruled out of the Perth leg next weekend.
Well, it's going to take longer than a week to fix the boat.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like, great spectacle to watch. Lost impact for me that Sunday morning when the Kiwis weren't in it. cool spectator sport. Thought the viaduct was humming. Saw people getting about in kit that were like workers, having tins down there. It was great. I just do fear that something bad might happen if we keep just chasing faster and faster.
Yep, completely agree.
Right, that's us. First review pod on your Monday. Hope you enjoy this one. We'll be back on Thursday. TAB code on Ways. I've spoken to them. I've revved them up. We're going to have a promo code for some bonus cash for this week's pod and on every pod moving forward. So we'll tuck into some team lists and this weekend's sporting action on Thursday. But go well. As always, gamble responsibly. Enjoy a couple Michelob Ultras. And we'll see you Thursday morning. How good.